Hazbin Hotel Season 2 has just wrapped up, and oh my god, do we have so much to talk about. So if you're just now checking out all this junk, Hazbin Hotel is an animated series on Amazon Prime about the Princess of Hell trying to redeem sinners so that they can get another chance at salvation. It was created by the artist vivziepop. It was independently launched on YouTube as a pilot, where it's currently sitting at 119 million views, and it just wrapped its second season with a third and fourth already on the way. And if you're just checking in on me, hi, my name is Foafy, and sometimes I recap the plots of cartoons for fun. Usually with stupid jokes and stupid jokes? Usually with stupid jokes and goofy drawings. That's what I was trying to say. And because my social media feed has been absolutely dominated by Hazbin Hotel recently, and I've had the soundtrack on loop for weeks now, I just want to take today and talk at you about this new season. So this is everything you need to know about Hazbin Hotel Season 2. You like this little figure I bought? We have props now, bitch. So I really wanted to find a Hazbin Hotel shirt to wear for this video, but surprisingly, I couldn't. I just couldn't find one anywhere in time for filming. So Hell of a Boss is as good as we're gonna get. And all the characters besides Luna get cut off in the frame, so get used to the furry shit. I do kind of like Hell of a Boss more than Hazbin Hotel, though, so I mean, I don't mind. And there's Blitz back there. I went out looking for Hazbin stuff for the video and just came back with a bunch of Hell of a Boss stuff. Oops. So, when we last left our demon friends, Princess of Hell Charlie Morningstar had just made a shady deal with Alistair the radio demon to get some key information to protect her hotel from an oncoming invasion of exorcist angels. They managed to fight off the invasion and even kill the leader of the exorcist, Adam, but that wasn't the only casualty. Not only was the hotel completely destroyed, but one of its oldest guests, a snake dude named Serpentius, got absolutely obliterated. He sacrificed himself in the midst of the battle to protect his friends, and particularly his secret crush and former rival, Cherry Bomb. Luckily for him, though, that self-sacrifice actually absolved him of all of his sins and got him redeemed and sent into heaven, which proved everything that the Hazbin Hotel was working for completely right for the first time ever. So that was pretty good. Yeah, that's a nice win. I'm sure that's not gonna completely break any political or societal structures. I'm sure it'll be fine. And so, as we hop back into the world of Hazbin Hotel for Season 2, all that stuff I just said is happening. The newly rebuilt Hazbin Hotel, do you like how much use I'm getting out of this prop? The newly rebuilt Hazbin Hotel is now booming with new guests, but unfortunately, none of them actually believe in redemption. They just think they're gonna get to kill some angels. And with Charlie, I don't have a Charlie Morningstar figure, so we're going with Star Butterfly. And with definitely Charlie still grieving over the death of Serpentius, she is completely not in the right headspace for all of the attention the hotel is getting right now. She's kind of spiraling a little bit. And let me be clear, we may know that Serpentius is up in heaven and that redemption is possible, but Charlie and everyone else in hell very much do not. So when Charlie puts her foot down and tells everyone at the hotel to leave if they're not there for redemption, yeah, the place clears out pretty fast. Except for this weird little fish guy named Baxter. He's a mad scientist type who actually used to work with Serpentius, and he wants to study the theory of redemption and ideally, in his case, prove it wrong, but, he's there. So he sticks around, and Charlie's like,
scaly scientist thing? I can project my grief onto you.
So, Charlie's pretty unstable. That's how we're starting. And with the hotel now very much in the public eye, that has given the V's a massive opportunity. The V's, Vox, Valentino, and Velvet, they were in Season 1 for like 10 minutes. So quick refresher, the V's are overlords, powerful demons that specialize in one particular trade, I guess, category. Velvet is an overlord of fashion and social media. Valentino is an overlord of adult entertainment, who you might remember as being Angel's piece of shit boss from Season 1, and Vox is the TV demon, or video demon, controlling all of Hell's TV broadcasting and news, and sporting some creepy mind control powers as well. Apparently when he was alive, he killed his way up the ladder in broadcasting and ran his network like a full-on cult, which I'm mentioning now because you should get used to this guy. He is our main villain for the season. Seriously, I hope you like Christian Boyle's singing voice because he sings in just about every episode. So Vox hatches this master plan to take advantage of the destabilized relationship between heaven and hell, spin all of it to smear Charlie and the hotel, get people on his side instead, and start a full-on revolution against heaven, all so that the V's can become gods. And I say the V's, Vox is really talking about himself, and he's not particularly subtle about it. Cult leaders are not particularly known for their teamwork. Speaking of heaven, things are even more chaotic up there. Serpentius showing up has thrown the entire place off its rocker. Legit, the first thing we see of heaven this season is Serpentius, like, in court. And Sarah, one of the higher-up seraphim angels that we met last season, is freaking the out, dude. See, she's the one who greenlit the exterminations of hell in the first place. So if souls could be redeemed from hell and get into heaven, that's gonna be a real bad fucking look for Sarah. That would mean she allowed for the mass extermination of thousands of people in hell for straight up no reason. And she really doesn't want to accept that. So she is going up into Serpentius's face and basically just being like, what did you do? What the f did you do? Obviously that hostile energy is getting them nowhere, so another higher up angel called the Speaker of God goes up to Pentius and asks him basically the same question, but, you know, better. And here we get the first of the season's many flashback sequences as Serpentius tells the court his life story. I'll try to keep it kind of short so that we can keep the plot moving forward, but basically when he was alive, Serpentius was a hot goth inventor living in Victorian England. Of course, as you would. How else would you explain it? And one day, while people watching from his window, he witnessed someone that he actually knew committing a bloody murder in the alleyway. They don't say it's Jack the Ripper, but it's basically Jack the Ripper. But instead of going to the authorities and trying to turn the guy in and bring him to justice, Pentius just kind of chickened out, which allowed that murderer to go on and kill 5 more women and never get caught. Which actually totally explains Serpentius's redemption. I mean, his sin was inaction, cowardice, so his choice to actually stand up and sacrifice himself to protect people during Season 1's ending battle, that essentially was him atoning for the sins of his life with the actions of his afterlife. And boom, redeemed. Cool. The only person who ain't buying any of this is Lute, Adam's right-hand exorcist from Season 1, who was harboring a secret love for the guy, so she is completely out for revenge against Charlie and her friends for murdering him. But you know, aside from getting one absolutely fantastic song setting all of this up, Lute's storyline definitely goes nowhere this season, so I don't know. Bye, Lute. Better luck next season. But we also get to meet some new characters here, like Abel, Adam's son and the new leader of the Exorcists, voiced by fucking Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. I fucking love Fall Out Boy, dude. I actually got to see them live last year in town, and it was by far the most overstimulating concert I have ever been to. Like, some of the elder millennials around me actually started leaving well before the show ended, I think because they just got headaches. But it was actually really fun. I had a great time. Too many fireworks, though. The fireworks were too loud, and I don't like that. But the casting choice of Patrick Stump in Hazbin Hotel has really solidified this perception I've had that Hazbin and Helluvaboss and the whole hellaverse is definitely like the new face of Gen Z hot topic emo revivalism, which is basically a really fancy way of saying that a bunch of people are gonna call it cringe today, and then in like 15 years, those same people are gonna act like they were always into it. But anyway, yeah, Lute's pissed, Pentius is confused, and Abel's like, yeah, and as the court is adjourned, Sarah leaves Pentius with her younger sister, Emily. I believe younger sister is what they are. They never really say. And Emily is meant to show Pentius around heaven. Unfortunately, all Pentius wants to do is get back to his friends in hell, so he's not getting into it, to put it mildly. And it just gets worse when Sarah announces that she's putting heaven on a complete lockdown until further notice, which actually finally makes the spark go off in Emily's head to be like, oh I should tell Charlie about this. So she quickly opens a portal to hell, hops over to Charlie and info dumps everything that I just said, and then leaves. And this news is obviously amazing for Charlie to hear, but maybe not this Charlie at this moment. This Charlie is still currently in the process of spiraling completely out of control. So she starts making these rash, terrible decisions while her girlfriend Vaggie, I actually have a Vaggie figure, but yes, Charlie's girlfriend Vaggie tells her to calm the down, and she's like, whoa, slow down there, girl. Don't go inviting the V's to our house or anything. But Charlie couldn't hear her because she was too busy inviting the V's to their house. Fucking great. So what Charlie wants to happen here is for her to be able to prove redemption is possible and rub it in Vox's face to prove that all of the news coverage and smear campaigns they've been running have been utter bullshit. But as Vox and Velvet show up, they're just like, great! Where's the proof? Yeah, she kind of forgot about that part. I mean, it's not like the people who are trying to actively ruin her reputation on a daily basis are gonna just take her word for it. So yeah, in a bit of desperation, Charlie decides, stupidly, I might add, to kind of speed run an entire redemption arc for Angel Dust, all while the V's cannot wait to capture all this footage and edit it to make her look so bad later that night. And spoiler alert, Angel Dust, one of the most important characters in the show, does not get redeemed in episode 3. In fact, this whole thing obviously turns into a complete train wreck. Literally, actually. But then Charlie finally kind of pieces together herself the whole redemption is based on absolving your specific sin thing, and goes up to Angel to ask what sin got him into hell. Wait, you don't know? Angel's been here for a long time, and this is the first time you've ever thought to ask why he's in hell in the process of trying to redeem him? God, this girl really doesn't know what she's doing. Damn. Apparently Vox does, though, as he chimes in like, ooh, I know this one. This guy killed his dad. Isn't that fucked? Damn. That got way darker than I thought it would. So Angel Dust is in hell for murder. Damn. I'm sure that's gonna play a massive role in his character arc for this season, at least. Who am I kidding? You already know this never comes up again. So as Vox and Velvet leave the hotel, ready to release a scathing hit piece later that night, we can turn our attention real quick to Cherry Bomb, the former rival of Serpentius, who's kind of been going through some complicated feelings ever since he died. Like, she hated that dude. She was trying to kill him on a daily basis, but ever since he sacrificed himself to save her, she's been reevaluating that and kind of realizing that she might have feelings for him too. All of which I am mentioning for two specific reasons. One, it gets Cherry Bomb to actually check into the hotel and take redemption seriously. And two, it leads to my favorite song in the entire season. Piss. It's called Piss. Good swear word. Underrated swear word. So we're about halfway through the season at this point, and you might be wondering, where the hell's Alistair? Yeah, haven't really caught up with that guy yet. That's mostly because he hasn't been doing shit all season. He's still nursing an injury to both his body and his staff from the season 1 finale, which has kind of nerfed his powers a little bit. And otherwise, he's just kind of lurking around the hotel, shirking responsibilities until one day, he just kind of up and quits, bails on the entire hotel project, and heads back to Cannibal Town to see his friend Rosie. And he's all like, quit my job today. But then Rosie's like,
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, you bet your ass I did.
No, you didn't.
yeah. So, big reveal there. Rosie is not Alistair's friend. She owns him. Another flashback sequence. Get used to him. Apparently, Alistair gained all of his power by striking a deal with Rosie when he was still alive. Back in those days, he was unsurprisingly a bit of a serial killer, so he knew where he was gonna end up and wanted to just embrace it, try and become, by name, the strongest sinner in hell. Rosie said she could make that happen, and Al's been on her leash ever since, and she's not just gonna let him up and disobey orders, so in order to get whatever he's trying to get here, he's gonna have to come up with some new tactic. Our guy just sort of strolls out into the street and makes an open call to Vox and the V's to come fight him, and for a guy whose powers aren't working that great, Alistair is actually able to hold his own pretty damn well against the V's. But then he calls off the fight and offers Vox a very strange proposition. He basically offers himself up on a silver platter, saying he'll join the V's propaganda efforts as a prisoner, and all Vox has to do in exchange is to, quote, not lay his hands on Charlie Morningstar. And Vox is like, dude, are you serious? Yes. I can't possibly see any ways in which this could be a long con ruse taking advantage of my weird hate boner for a known backstabber. You got a deal. And so with Alistair now in Vox's captivity, the V's go on a massive victory lap. The news spreads all over hell really fast, while Charlie is completely in the dark as to how Alistair got captured in the first place. But just because Alistair is Vox's prisoner now doesn't mean he's just rolling over. Dude is still taking every single opportunity he can to get under Vox's skin, poking at his insecurities, saying he'd be powerless on his own. And all this leads to yet another, are you getting tired of these yet? Yet another flashback where we see Alistair and Vox sharing a drink. For a former cult leader, Vox is showering Alistair with genuine praise. Like, he calls him inspiring. But when he then proposes that he and Alistair join forces to rule hell together, Alistair just bursts out laughing. He completely embarrasses Vox, calls him weak, and absolutely shatters any illusions that the two of them were ever friends. He just kind of emotionally pulverizes Vox, man. So, can kind of see where this dude's obsession with Alistair comes from at that point. And we can also see why Alistair let himself get captured. You know, he can just now sit around and effortlessly manipulate the guy. Either way, Vox's victory over Alistair has got all of Hell's eyes on the V's. Tons of overlords are joining Vox's crusade against Heaven, and Charlie, let me take a wild guess. Is she panicking? Spiraling? Yeah, same as always. With Alistair gone, her reputation in the trash, and Vox only getting more powerful, Charlie has resorted to desperately trying to get Emily's attention up in Heaven. And Vaggie sees all this. I gotta get my money's worth out of these. Vaggie sees all this and decides to go to Charlie's dad, Lucifer, to see if he can help. You know, see if he could maybe smite Vox or something. But as it turns out, despite being the king of hell, Lucifer is still in hell, meaning he's still being punished for something. He is a fallen angel who hates sinners, so he is now facing an eternal punishment where he's forced to be around sinners all the time with no power to do anything to them. But you know, he still loves Charlie and wants to help, so he goes off to crash one of Vox's political rallies later that day and try to turn on the intimidation a bit. But Vox weirdly isn't phased, like not even a little bit. Dude doesn't even flinch. In fact, he is instantly able to spin all of this in his favor and only further convince the people of hell that a full-on regime change is in order. Well, that went to shit. But luckily, back at the hotel, Charlie's efforts to get Emily's attention actually paid off, with her, Sarah, Abel, and Lute, for some reason, all coming down to hell to try and make peace with gift baskets. They're apologizing for years of exterminations, the slaughter of thousands, with gift baskets. Everyone except for Lute, of course. Quite honestly, I don't even know why she came. But yeah, man, this is a golden opportunity for Vox. You know, he's up on stage yelling at the angels and saying things like, you know, why should we trust the angels? Why should we ever forgive them after everything they did? Why shouldn't we give heaven a taste of their own medicine? And with an entire rally of sinners on his side, Vox declares full-on war against heaven. And terrified, obviously, the angels retreat without having said a damn word about Penchus or redemption. Fucking damn it. Shit is not going well, my guy. Not only has Vox declared war, but he's also managed to convince Carmilla Carmine, the angelic arms dealer, to reluctantly build a massive weapon to protect hell. Plus, you know, Charlie got real pissed at Lucifer for the stunt he pulled. She got just as mad at Vaggie when she found out it was her idea. Alistair's still gone, and in the chaos of everything, where'd I put him? And in the chaos of everything, the hotel's bartender, Husk, just got fed up and bailed. He ran off to, like, drink and gamble. Told you, I gotta get my money's worth out of these things. So at this point, basically the entire team of the hotel is starting to crumble. But despite how it might look, things aren't going the greatest for Vox either. I mean, sure, the dude is winning hard right now, but it's all going straight to his head. His ego is getting huge, and the other Vs are sick of it. And you know, it doesn't help that Alistair's still there, poking at Vox's insecurities every chance he gets, which is making Vox act like even more of a dick towards Val and Velvet. Despite the infighting though, Vox convinces Val to let him borrow Angel Dust for the next phase of the plan. Speaking of Angel Dust though, we haven't really talked about him a whole lot this season. Right now, he's actually over at the casino where Husk has been self-destructing, performing not my favorite song this season, but probably the best, like objectively best song in Hazbin Hotel. It's called Losing Streak. It's this wonderful jazz, like drag performance. It's an unbelievable song. Like that little scotch and cigarettes gets stuck in my head all the time. God, this season is good. But after the song and after Husk just completely just destroys his liver with alcohol, the two of them have a heart-to-heart where Angel is actually able to convince Husk to come back to the side of the hotel. So, you know, you two's purchase validated, I guess. I can use him in the future. You know, Angel really seems like he's growing this season. He's much more emotionally mature, kind of seems like he's got his shit together more, and even after the big reveal of his, like, ultimate sin, he seems to be mostly okay. All that is to say, if you're a big Angel fan and you've been loving seeing him do better this season, I'm sorry. Because as Angel heads off to work for Val that night, he is instead jump scared by Vox and his creepy hypnotic powers. Angel tries to look away, but Vox is weirdly confident, as if he's like done this before, many times. And Angel just doesn't know. Yes, this has been Vox's secret weapon this entire time. Using his mind control, Vox has been able to turn Angel into an unknowing spy for the Vs, feeding him news and information on Charlie in the hotel for God only knows how long. That's how Vox has managed to stay one step ahead this entire season. That's how he knew that Lucifer couldn't actually hurt him. He had Angel eavesdropping on the conversation, feeding him the info, and Angel was none the wiser. And now, Vox has put Angel into yet another trance to turn him into a celebrity endorsee of the war. Damn it, man. I really hope Angel can catch a fucking break in season 3, because that dude has just gone through way too much. Back at the hotel, and on a bit of a lighter note, Charlie and Vaggie have their own heart-to-heart / amazing musical number that helps them get past their argument, and this really helps Charlie snap out of this anxiety spiral she's been in all season, so then she calls her dad to try and apologize, but she can't get through. And she gets a busy signal because Lucifer is already on the phone with Charlie. Or so he thinks. Take a wild guess. Yep, it's Vox. It's of course it's fucking Vox. Apparently this dude can mimic other characters' voices perfectly. That's a new one. All right. But as Charlie, Vox tells Lucifer to head to this abandoned warehouse, and he totally buys it. Uh-oh, guess what, Lucifer? Now you're in the jar. Do you like being in the jar, Lucifer? Yeah, he walked right into Vox's trap and then got turned into a glorified battery for Vox's big scary cannon, which Vox unveils later that day and just blasts the fuck out of heaven. This massive, powerful surge of angelic energy just shoots right up to heaven and pierces through their lockdown defenses. Having made his opening statement, Vox then FaceTimes into heaven, which is another thing he can apparently just do, and says that Seraphim has 24 hours to turn the kingdom of heaven over to him, or else hell is gonna invade. Yeah, so as if heaven wasn't already unstable at the beginning of the show, they are in full-on hysterics now. Obviously, Emily wants to try and make peace, Lute wants to go down and just kill them all, and Abel's like, is it getting old yet? But Sarah is far too panicked to know what to do. That is, until our good boy Serpentius goes to talk to her. Because keep in mind, Sarah's entire belief system has been shaken at this point. She's still racked with guilt over all the people who were killed in the exterminations that she greenlit, and now she just can't quite figure out how humans can even be redeemable when they take part in such horrendous shit like this, to which Serpentius is just like,
Sarah, us humans are just doing our best. We could die from a light breeze. Boom! Dead in seconds. We're all terrified and just doing whatever we can to survive.
And Sarah's just like, oh, okay, sure. That is a crazy oversimplified summary of what is honestly my favorite scene in the entire show, where we really start to get at the core of the moral questions asked by this show. Of course, there's another musical number. It's beautiful. My phone. Of course, there's another musical number. It's beautiful. It reprises the season 1 song. It starts with Sorry, which honestly made me tear up a little bit, but we don't have time for all that. The Cliff Notes version here is that Sarah's talk with Pentious gives her some clarity and hope, allowing her to make a better plan to best prevent the war. She tells Lute to ready the troops, but to stay on standby, not go fight, which of course, that pisses Lute off even more. I don't know how a person could get more pissed off, but they find a way. And instead, Sarah sends Emily down to try and prioritize finding a peaceful solution with Charlie. The next day, Vox throws this massive gala, inviting as many overlords as he can to witness his victory over heaven, including Charlie. And this gives the gang the perfect opportunity to try and hatch a plan and stop Vox at this gala. So Charlie and Vaggie will attend the gala as guests, allowing the rest of the gang to sneak into the V's tower. Husk and Cherry will go find Angel Dust to try and snap him out of the hypnosis. Nifty and Baxter are gonna go to the server room to try and break down the security system. Emily will communicate back to heaven, allowing Pentious and Baxter to establish a live feed between the two realms, also that Charlie and Emily can take the stage, prove redemption is real, giving Vaggie the opportunity to sneak off and see how she can destroy this big doomsday weapon. And that's a really solid plan. One question though, when the did they find out Angel was hypnotized? Yeah, we never really see the gang put 2 and 2 together on that. It just kind of happens off screen in between episodes. I mean, to be fair, it's the kind of thing that I think the audience knows that the characters are smart enough to figure it out. But still, basically every time I've seen someone reacting to this particular bit of the show, they're always like, wait, when did they figure that out? Anyway, as you might expect, this plan starts off going all right, but then it quickly goes off the rails. Husk and Cherry do manage to find Angel, but then Val shows up, attacks, and orders the still hypnotized Angel to start strangling Cherry. Luckily, one good bash in the back of the head from Husk, that hurt, was all it really took to break the hypnosis, so they send Val crashing through a window, and they run for it. Similarly, Baxter is almost able to get the live feed set up for Pentious, but then Velvet shows up and attacks. Nifty handles the fighting while Baxter tries to keep the work going, but eventually his computer breaks, the servers break, and Nifty sends Velvet also flying out of a window. And now with no computers or servers, it's kinda just up to Penchus and Heaven to figure out how to rig up the live stream by himself. But unfortunately, in the meantime, that leaves Charlie on stage with absolutely no proof of the redemption, giving Vox time to regain control of the situation and back Charlie into a corner. With her plan falling apart, Vox demands that Charlie admit that he is the strongest sinner in hell. Of course, Charlie refuses, but then weirdly, Alistair insists. And when I say insists, I mean he literally forces her to do it by finally calling in the favor Charlie's owed him since they made their handshake deal in season 1. And so, with no other options, Charlie admits that Vox is now the strongest sinner in hell. And then to gloat a little bit, because we know this guy by now, Vox then goes up to Charlie and places both of his hands on her shoulders. And in that one fell swoop, Alistair just pulled off an absolutely insane triple hat trick. Let me break it down for you. So by calling in his favor from Charlie, that completely resolves their deal. Then by making the Princess of Hell admit that Vox is the strongest sinner, that, strips Alistair of the title, breaking Rosie's end of her deal with Al, which gets him off that chain. And as Vox grabbed Charlie's shoulders, the contract keeping Alistair as his prisoner was rendered completely null and void because Vox broke his promise to, quote, not lay his hands on Charlie Morningstar. Yeah, Alistair did not mean that figuratively. So now, after doing literally nothing for this entire season, Alistair has managed to free himself of all his restrictions in literal seconds. And with no more chains on this dude, he jumps right into an all-out brawl with Vox. Yes, this is insane. Yes, it fucking rules. And what's crazy is as they are flying around hell, just beating the shit out of each other, Alistair is still playing Vox like a fiddle, poking at his insecurities to the point that Vox is on the brink of a complete mental break. And this is when Vox gets probably the worst idea he's ever had. In an attempt to put an end to Alistair once and for all, Vox takes his massive doomsday weapon, points it away from Heaven, and starts firing it on hell itself. Just straight up trying to use it to kill Alistair and leaving everything and everyone in its path as just collateral damage. And not even watching his oh-so-important approval ratings plummet in real time is gonna stop him by this point. Dude just wants Alistair dead, nothing else. But firing this thing off willy-nilly is completely overloading the weapon, leaving it one blow away from causing a massive explosion that would wipe out half the pentagram and kill everyone in its wake. But Vox just straight up could not give a shit at this point anymore. He's done pretending that he gives a shit about heaven or hell or literally anything besides getting one over on Alistair. He's ready to just let it all blow in the name of killing Alistair, but luckily Val and Velvet, who I guess just pulled themselves together from their respective falls out of windows, just try to, beat some sense into the dude. But words ain't doing shit, fighting ain't doing shit, so Val just grabs Vox's TV head and rips it clean off of his body, which, it's a pretty effective way to get someone to stop doing pretty much anything. Don't worry, Vox isn't dead. I don't know how this doesn't kill him, but it doesn't. But the cannon is still very much set to blow. But then Emily slowly approaches the machine and starts to shoot bubbles at it. Yeah, this is kind of where things get a little bit difficult to parse out from a literal standpoint, but Emily, Charlie, Nifty, and Husk all start singing this new song while shooting, hopes and dreams out of their hand and directly up to the weapon, which somehow starts forming this glowing force field around it. But just as they're making progress, Lute and Abel come down to hell. Sarah sent them to get Emily away from the danger, but Lute is ready to just completely go off the rails and go on a killing spree, of course. But don't worry, this whole bit isn't even about Lute. No, this is Abel's moment. Abel's just kind of been this big old teddy bear for most of the season. Despite being Adam's son, he's nice, he's kind, he's laid back, and he's also a bit of a coward. But in this moment, something in Abel just snaps, and he's finally able to put his foot down and tell Lute to back the f*** off. So legit, as quickly as they got there, they just leave. They don't even take Emily with them. This entire part of the episode was borderline useless, except for the fact that they finally gave Patrick Stump a song. Call it style over substance if you want, but vivziepop knows their audience. They announced that Patrick Stump was voicing this character months ago and waited till the very last episode to give him any kind of big song. But it fucking rules, dude. It's a classic emo pop punk jam. Yeah, of course, because Patrick Stump is singing it, it kind of immediately gives off Fall Out Boy vibes, but really, the composition is a lot more similar to a My Chemical Romance type thing. They even have Alex Brightman layer his voice over Patrick Stump's to really reinforce Abel's connection to his dad, Adam, which is actually what gets Lute to finally back off. And I love Patrick Stump, I love Fall Out Boy, and also, I'm no Danny Mata. I don't got anything against Alex Brightman. I love that guy's voice. I love his weird little voice. The only real downside is that this entire segment is only 45 seconds long. That is criminally short, man. I can't believe we have to wait an entire, at least a year, to get to season 3 and hopefully get another Abel song. God. You know, if only there were like, I don't know, throwing out a number, 9 albums worth of music by this exact man in this exact genre that I could listen to in the meantime to fill the void. Oh well, could you tell that I was really excited to have an excuse to talk about emo music for even just a second? If you would like to see more of that, check out my video on the bass that I bought, which was used in Paramore. It's right behind me. Anyway, with Lute and Abel gone, the other overlords join Emily and Charlie's attempts to save Hell. Even Val and Velvet join in. Not because they believe in Charlie's cause now or anything, but they just don't want to get blown up. But even with all that, it's still not quite enough. Like, if only the former most powerful sinner in hell could maybe chip in and lend a hand. Where the hell is Alistair? Well, he's exactly where you'd expect him to be, over in the corner, just kind of lurking. That is, until Rosie shows up and is like, dude, fucking do something. But at this point, we know Alistair's not going to do anything just to do it. There's got to be something in it for him. The rest of this interaction is left kind of unspoken, so I don't got all the details, but what I do know is that when Alistair and Rosie do join in the effort, Alistair is showing up with his staff finally fixed, meaning this dude is back to full power with presumably no more deals holding him back. So that's probably going to be something we'll have to deal with soon. But with that final boost, the force field reaches full power, and as the cannon finally blows, the blast is completely contained, saving all of Hell and its citizens. Even Lucifer's okay. Yeah, remember that Lucifer was involved in all this? Everyone else kind of forgot. Even Charlie was like, Dad? And once all this is done, Sir Pentious finally gets the live feedback and is able to call in from heaven, prove that redemption is real to everyone in Hell, and get to flirt with Cherry a little bit. That's our boy right there. That's our boy. Huh. No one died. I really thought someone was gonna die this season. like someone important. My money was on Vox. But no, everyone lived. Okay, cool, great. Unfortunately, the happy ending doesn't last for long though, as Angel Dust hangs his head and starts heading right back to Val. Being a pawn in the V's game has left him with so much extra trauma, as if he needed more. Like, he feels more trapped and helpless than ever. So he's decided to leave the hotel, leave his friends, and just go right back to his old life. Damn it, man. I told you that Angel fans were gonna have a bad time. I told you. Husk fans are also having a bad time because we got to see him like really sad, which was just not fun. But aside from that one major bummer that I'm sure we'll get to next season, things are actually going pretty great in the wake of Vox's defeat. The hotel, where did I put it? The hotel is once again booming with new guests, but this time it's people who actually believe in redemption. Emily's helping out from heaven, which gives Cherry and Pentious like an avenue to keep in touch. Alistair's back, seemingly eyeing up Lucifer as his next target. It looks like Vox is out of power, though it seems like Val has just immediately taken his place as the new head of the V's. And heaven seems pretty stoked about welcoming in the redeemed sinners, except Lute, obviously, still. But just before we hit the credits, Charlie's phone rings, and she answers it in a panic because for the first time in this entire series, it's her mom calling. And that is Hazbin Hotel Season 2. I loved every bit of that, dude. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's better than Season 1 as a whole, but in my opinion, every single like individual piece of this series just got bumped up to the next level. The animation on display here is astonishing, dude. There are so many remarkable spinning 360 shots, like slick transitions, amazing fight scenes, and just insane aesthetics on display. It's really great. Plus the songs, dude. The songs are definitely better than Season 1, in my opinion. Sam Haft and Andrew Underberg, you two wrote some incredible this season. I'm legit considering buying the soundtrack on cassette, which yeah, of course they sell that, and of course I'm interested in it. But I cannot wait for season 3, man. I am so stoked for that. I can't believe we have to wait so damn long. I saw an interview recently with the series creator vivziepop where she described each season of Hazbin Hotel with a specific color palette. Season 1 is red, you know, obviously. Season 2 is blue, which I presume is because of Vox. Season 3 is going to be purple and green, and season 4 is supposed to be yellow or gold. So based on that, thinking ahead at what might come next, I'm assuming season 3 is going to be pretty heavily focused on Lilith and Alistair. I mean, obviously, yes, we ended season 2 with a big cliffhanger of the first real action Lilith has taken in this entire series, and pretty much every time we've seen her up until now, she's wearing some shade of purple. And then the green's gotta be Alistair, right? I mean, I know he's like all red, but every time he uses his magic, it's depicted as this bright, neon, slimy green. I want to say it might be the only thing in the entire series that is this particular shade of green. And now that the dude's back to full power and free of all of his contracts, I'm really hoping we start to see him unfold into the big villain character he's been teased to be for so damn long now. And then of course, going by that color theory, if season 4 is supposed to be yellow or gold, then I would assume that has something to do with heaven or angels or probably loot. And if that is the case, then we genuinely might have to wait another entire fucking season before loot gets to do anything in this show. And speaking of not doing anything, are the V's just done now? Like, Vox is basically a glorified tablet at this point, and after he nearly blew up all of hell, I doubt he'll ever gain any amount of, like, power or influence again. You know, Velvet's not redeemed by any means, but the show has yet to give her any kind of big personal motivation, so I just can't see her becoming a particularly big villain yet. And of course, Val is still a major threat as Angel's boss, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of him as the gang tries to get Angel back, but that's more of a personal character-driven threat. That's not really like full season threat material. So honestly, with season 2 wrapped, we might have just seen the end of the V's, like completely for this show. Huh. I guess Christian Borle's out of a job, but with all of this done, all of this recapped, and all of this said, my only question left is when the are we getting the Hell of a Boss crossover, man? Like, where did I fucking put that guy? Dude, I love Hazbin Hotel, but I am such a Hell of a Boss dude. Like, I love Hell of a Boss. And Amazon bought these guys, and they said that they were gonna start crossing over, so when is it fucking happening, man? I need more of Blitz and Moxie in my life. Yes, I'm excited for more Hell of a Boss. Yes, I'm excited for more Hazbin, but very specifically, I want them to cross over, please. Yes, thank you. It's my birthday when I am filming this, so you should do it. I'm a 30-year-old man. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my new video, and now, of course, I gotta give a huge shout out to my Living in Denial channel members, those being KO Productions, Loki Not That One, Chiller Beans, Steven Bro 64, Kisara, Spooky Month 333, Princess Ella Bunny, Meme Boy 049, Reality in Color, Samburger, Jake Artist 13, JBG 0801, Broken Pie, Revamped Skunk, Grace Strickland, L1 Brew 5, Hey It's Rosa, No Nah Ha, Star Squared, Strange Fan 101, Glue Gunner, AR Hester, Dirk, Flip Flop, Mario Underground, Wolfglar, The Flame Bucket, Michael Milton, Z-Boot, Cyril Play 656, Mimikyu 199, Ciela Star, and Galaxy.